ready to chug some beers and make some bad gambling picks. Welcome to ChuggieBets.
So, around 8 p.m. last night, we have the Lions playing the San Francisco 49ers. The Lions are up by 17 at halftime, an absolutely dominating performance to this point. Jared Goff looked like that dude. San Francisco looked lost in the wash. Brock Purdy didn't look great. Nothing looked great on San Francisco. My question for you is this. How many Lions fans at halftime booked a non-refundable hotel in Las Vegas, assuming they were going to the Super Bowl? Because I'm assuming the number was large, and it's got to be fucking painful today. Bad enough to lose, really bad to lose a 4-day deposit on a hotel that probably ran you $2,000.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so absolutely brutal, right? We were here a couple of weeks ago, right after the Dolphins had lost, and I was asking which is worse, for the Jags to blow the end of their season and not even make the playoffs, or for the Dolphins to squeak in and then kind of get blown out in their first game. This is worse than any of that. You have to be 100% confident your team is going at halftime, right? You're popping the champagne already. You're receiving texts from your friends Nate and Zach congratulating you on your victory. Absolutely brutal.
Nate is the bad guy of the week.
Yes,
that was the most fucked up shit. So congratulating in advance as a Miami sports fan, where you've seen heartbreak come from the teeth of victory. To do that is mean. It was mean-spirited. I didn't like it.
He tried to redeem himself later and say oh, the Niners are putting on a clinic here. It was just too little too late, Nate.
Too little too late.
Zach just doubled down. Zach just kept.
He's the worst. Do any of you guys feel this is going to be specifically for you, Chris? Do you feel happy for Kyle Shanahan being able to overcome that situation, considering he lost a way worse situation when he was up by 31 points or whatever in the Super Bowl? But do you feel happy for him? Are you angry with him?
It's a real bittersweet situation, and I can relate to some of the Lions fans out there. I'm not gonna say that. I think it's pretty impressive that he's been on both sides of that.
Yeah. Did you know
in such important games?
To that point, I think Kyle Shanahan as a head coach of the San Francisco 49ers was 1-19 when trailing by 7 points going into the fourth quarter. And that mattered because the first one was against the Packers the previous week. Trailing by more than 5 points in the fourth quarter. So he's clearly a front runner. I was impressed with the resolve in order to come back in a game like that where Detroit was kicking the shit out of San Francisco, especially on the ground.
Yeah. It was fantastic. But is it just me, or was there a lot of let's say immaculate things that were happening in the favor of the Niners? Come on, that IU catch off the guy's face mask.
It was nothing could go wrong for the Lions the first half, and then nothing could go right the second half.
I agree. Why Dan Campbell? Why keep going forward on fourth? Just kick one of those field goals. Maybe two of those field goals. Right. So he should have kicked 2 field goals.
I think that's one of those times where analytics can't fully grasp the human experience. You know what I mean? Those might have been the right plays, strictly from an analytics point, your EPA or whatever, your extra points added per play based on going forward or kicking the field goal, whatever, might have been the right call. But at some point, when you just keep coming away with no points, it drags on you, as a person, right? You're yeah, sometimes you got to just take the points to lift everybody's spirits, kind of get a little win, change the momentum, I think.
To embrace analytics fully, you have to realize that even if it's the best play, sometimes it doesn't work, right? And even if it's the most value added, we're assuming that Badgley makes the long field goals. We're doing a lot of assumptions there too. He probably would have made the field goals. But as far as the analytics, to really embrace the idea of analytics is to say, this is the best outcome, but it doesn't mean it's going to work. Right? This would be the most value added. So kudos for Dan Campbell sticking with it. I thought it was interesting, him sticking by his guns and being loyal to it, where you need to know the situation, like you were saying. There was all kinds of momentum working against you. Putting 3 points on the board to tie that game probably calms the seas. Will they lose the game on that? The likelihood is they would lose the game still if they kicked that field goal, because San Francisco had 5 minutes left and they were driving, and you not necessarily momentum wouldn't overthrow the situation. But it's a tricky conversation. I like Dan Campbell sticking by his guns. Like I would have kicked a field goal to tie the game with 8 minutes left, but I don't know if that made it any more likely for him to win the game. Where this would have increased the odds to win if you get that fourth down, and the play worked.
Yeah.
But
the really painful part.
Speaking of momentum, it felt like the snowball happened so fast. Josh Reynolds. Let's take a step back. Who had a worse weekend, Josh Reynolds or Zay Flowers? Because
they're both terrible.
They both had a bad weekend for sure. But who was worse?
I
I want to say Zay Flowers.
I would say Zay Flowers.
Because he fumbled the ball into the end zone where you had a touchdown that would have made that game, and it would have been a tie game, right? Josh Reynolds, you still needed to matriculate the ball further down the field, but dude, you got to catch the fucking ball. One drop, okay. That second drop was inexcusable. I couldn't believe it. Made me uncomfortable to watch, and it made me really angry. I may have been the angriest non-Detroit fan because, buddy, I needed over 2.5 catches. Catch one of them. Catch one of those drops, and your boy has got a lot more money because I paired it with Christian McCaffrey touchdown, and that shit always hits. This was the juice. And I was right, but I was wrong.
So I get what you're saying about Zay having the worst week, but Zay had 5 for 115 and a tutty.
He did have a big tutty. That tutty was sweet.
Josh Reynolds had 1 for 25. Like, I don't think there's any question who had the worst week.
No, that's true.
How many turnovers did Zay Flowers have? Was it just the one in the end zone? Because Baltimore turned the ball over like 3 times at least.
Well, Lamar threw the interception in the red zone or in the end zone, and I can't remember the third turnover. Oh, it was a fumble. It was Lamar turning over the ball. So I guess you want to play a game who had a worse day, Lamar Jackson or Josh Reynolds at that point?
Oh, gosh. These people just had bad days. Poor guys.
It was just a bad day for those guys.
Still Josh Reynolds.
No, statistically he stunk. Welcome to ChuggieBets. I'm Matt. I got Sunshine to the left of me, Andy over there on the other side. We're going to recap some football. We're going to talk about the early spread for the Super Bowl as well. Before we do any of that, we got to drink some beer. So cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers. Solveig with blood orange.
Since Danny's not here, I just feel the need to point out that Detroit's kicker was a Miami Hurricane, and that may be why nobody trusted him to kick field goals.
That's a good point.
That's on Danny's behalf.
Is there a least intimidating name than Michael Badgley? Michael Badgley doesn't sound – he sounds like he is your local insurance agent. Like, oh, I got to call Michael Badgley because my rate is terrible. I got to go yell at Michael Badgley to lower my insurance rate. He gets yelled at for sure.
Yeah, not a super intimidating name.
Unrelated to anything. So we had a great weekend. If you take me out of it, we had a stellar weekend. Al went 4-1, hit all of his props. The only downside for Al was he had the Ravens laying the 3.5. It happens. Andy hit both legs of the parlay smoothly, smooth sailing, especially with backdoor golf coming around, always sniffing around, covering back doors. Nice job on the parlay. Danny went 3-1. He took a double unit on Kansas City to win that game money line. Nicely done. At plus 165. It's pretty good. And then I went 0-1 because Josh Reynolds just doesn't like to catch the ball. And I just thought it was a great opportunity to get 2 catches. Not a big deal. We have a lot to cover today, but in normal ChuggieBets fashion, I think it's important to honor the teams whose season ended this weekend. I've got 2 compliment sandwiches. I have Baltimore. I have Detroit. Chris, do you have any real estate facts on either of those that you would like to share with us?
They're bad, Matt. Bad.
Okay, fair enough. Who wants Baltimore or who wants Detroit?
I don't care. Sonny, you pick, and I'll take the other one.
I'll take the Motor City.
Go
Yeah.
for it.
All right. So, wow, Detroit, what a season. Wow, you guys really made, hey, look, you made football fun to watch this season, and I thank you for that. That being said, it was soul crushing for your fans.
Oh,
And as an Atlanta Falcons fan, I absolutely relate to that. To have all the weapons that you had and to have the lead that you had and for it to not work out, that is the meatiest sandwich that nobody wants.
Mhm.
Thank you for Eminem and Ford Motors.
Cheers.
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 I do think it's important to point out yesterday the middle finger Eminem gave out, very strong middle finger. It wasn't like one of these like haphazard ones. He had both knuckles up there with the side saddles. It makes it a much stronger middle finger. And I
You
was
guys go
impressed.
side saddle? I never go side saddle.
I
just go
know,
full.
no, I don't either. I do it very soft. If you throw the side saddles with it, I think it just makes it look more like a mountain. It looks
I'm gonna
more
have
epic when you throw. Yeah, see, that's a much stronger middle finger. Throw the other one.
Kind of hurts.
Yeah.
This is
That's
an
how soft I
airplane,
am.
though. You're like,
The airplane middle, the jet bomber middle finger. I just thought it looked awesome. The crowd yelling at him, and it was cool. The only thing that made me sad is that we missed out on the halftime show that America deserved. Taylor Swift on one side, Eminem on the other, both of them rushing Usher. I'm sure they would have got incorporated in somehow, and I think it would have been friggin' awesome. But I digress. Andy, why don't you honor Baltimore?
All right, Baltimore. As far as I know, you are able to drink the water in Baltimore. So congratulations for that. That is always a good thing to be able to drink the water. On the downside, you beat a team you lost to a team that only put up 17 points. I mean, come on. That's embarrassing. You just paid Lamar all the monies, and you can't put up enough points to beat a team when your defense holds them to 17. That is embarrassing, and you can't let that happen. Fire Harbaugh. You heard it here. No, not really. And then on the back end of the compliment sandwich, at least Lamar can dry his tears with all of the $100 bills. Every $100 bill ever created, Lamar Jackson has them, and he's just drying the tears. So, cheers
For the Ravens. Oh, man. Yeah, and we can finally put to bed the conspiracy that the logo colors of the Super Bowl always match the championship teams, unless they're going all red. This one is not going through. By the way, Taylor Swift has a song called Red on an album called Red.
yeah. I think that the Super Bowl colors were announced before Taylor really got involved, Matt.
Oh, he's the anti-hero in this.
It was announced before we, the general public, were aware that Taylor was involved, I think is important to point out. I saw a TikTok today that was talking about how Taylor's favorite number is 13 and all the different things that add up to 13. I think the Super Bowl's on 211, so that's 13. 100 minus 13 is 87, which is Travis Kelce's jersey number. It's Taylor's world, and we're just living in it, guys.
There we are. So let's play a theoretical game. If the NFL was scripted, like a lot of people have suggested, what is a better outcome for Roger Goodell? Is it the Chiefs winning or the Chiefs losing? Because if the Chiefs lose, there's a big media uproar from the Taylor Swift fans, and maybe they stay included in next year when they try to come back. Or the Chiefs winning, there's celebration, but do the fans care as much next year because they already got to enjoy the celebration?
I think losing. I think photos of Taylor on the field comforting a very upset Travis Kelce. I think that's where the money's at.
I agree.
I've already actually placed money to buy an enlarged photo of that to put it on my wall.
$23,000. Oh, $13,000.
Yes,
13.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
To the point you were saying 100 minus 13 equals 87. You could have made that work with any number, by the way. I know 100 is a nice round number, but like that is a ridiculous thing.
Like if his number was 12, you could be like, what's 25 minus 13, guys?
Everyone knows it. It's 12. It's like that is a crazy comparison. But yes, the 211 thing. I'm excited. I'll be curious to Jet Watch, right? What is a flight tracker to see her get back from Japan. I don't know if you heard this. The night before, she is doing a show in Japan, and she says she's coming back for the Super Bowl. Let's see if she makes it. Godspeed, Tay-Tay.
Matt, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you know how long a flight from Tokyo to Las Vegas is?
Is it 13 hours?
It is. It is 13 hours.
Is it
Get
really?
the fuck out of here.
I don't know. I saw it on a TikTok today, so that's not the most reliable source. Yes.
Oh my god! I wanted to watch all of our like cameras like zoom in and out and be like, wow, 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 wow.
I'll see if I can add that in
Like-
post.
Whoa, wacky.
Make us all like spin around.
All right. So let's go into the first game. We had the Ravens at the Chiefs. I really think the MVP of the Chiefs this year is Steve Spagnuolo. I have never thought about the Chiefs being good at defense, and I think the Chiefs' offense is bad. It's good to see Kelsey come back alive, all jokes aside from Taylor Swift. He's fucking awesome. He's super fun to watch. But I was impressed by Spagnuolo yesterday and the defense. They've been smothering everyone. Did you know there have been 3 quarterbacks this year that have thrown 2 touchdowns or more in a game against the Chiefs? The 2 of them are Zach Wilson, and I can't remember the other quarterback, but it was like shocking. It wasn't who's the other Wilson that's Russell Wilson and Zach Wilson. And there's a third one I can't remember off the top of my head, but the Chiefs have a very dominant defense. And if you were to look for a little prop, I'd look Brock Purdy under 1.5 touchdowns. If the trend continues, may be the right direction. They don't like to throw touchdowns anyways. They like to run them in with McCaffrey, but that's just a special treat. That was my biggest takeaway from the game. I don't know if you guys had anything else you gathered.
And I'd like to throw into question since you mentioned it, but you remember at some point in there, like McCaffrey at the end of the game, like he ran the ball down to like the 4-5 yard line, whatever, really close. Kind of had a flip over tackle, got up, and he was like, "I'm coming out," you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't think I ever saw him take the field again. I think Elijah Mitchell just stayed out there.
Yeah, I think the game.
Should I be worried?
Ooh, good question. I feel like that guy's made out of like
Christian
metallic.
McCaffrey, torn ACL. You heard it here first.
Wow,
God,
breaking
shocking.
news.
It was
Eat
a
a
head
ditch.
injury.
Eat a dick, Schefter.
Hey, just random, but just like how many times have they been worried about Christian McCaffrey maybe having a torn ACL?
I don't know. Probably all.
13.
Oh! Good job. Good job. Wow. Yeah, I don't know if you guys had any takeaways from the game.
I have no takeaways from the game, but I have a takeaway from the pregame.
Okay.
And that is, if you're going to start bullying somebody on the other team, first off, you don't go pick your big jock friend to come with you, and then go pick the smallest, scrawniest, weakest guy on the playground and start picking on him. That's a bitch move. You're not a real man if you do that. You go bring your biggest friend with you and then pick on the little guy. And that is what Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce did to Justin Tucker before the game. They were bullying him. I will not stand for it. I'm not a Patrick Mahomes guy. Been leaning this way for a while. It's official now. I'm out. He sucks. Not
Chris,
at football, just at life.
Chris, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, Matt, I kind of side with Andy on this. I'm just like, hey, why do you start to pick on the kicker? But then again, I don't have the whole story, but I can tell that Justin wasn't happy about it. And I mean, just to be fair, I mean, Justin Tucker has scored more points than both those guys. I'm pretty sure. And also, like, there's two sides to every story. I don't know, but if I think I think they were trying to get into his head, and there's two thoughts to this. And this is the one that I think, and I actually I wanted to see, but I wanted to see, because of that, Justin Tucker to make a 65-yard field goal to win the game.
That would have been great.
Wait, hold on. Make it 68. 68. And take 55, add 13 to it.
Yeah, I got
68.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna play a little.
Sorry, Matt, real quick before you go to that. I think Sunshine meant career. Justin Tucker has more points than those guys. And if that's what you meant, you're accurate. But also in this game, Justin Tucker had 4 points. Mahomes threw 1 touchdown pass to Kelsey. That's 7 points divided by 2 guys, 3.5. Even just in this game, Justin Tucker had more points than either Patrick Mahomes or Travis Kelsey.
He did. But let's let me put on my detective hat. Okay, so there's a big thing we're missing here. Let's play field. Let's look at the whole picture, and I'm going to do ballistics on this. Yes, it does appear to be bullying, but I don't know what a kicker warm-up looks like. But why the hell is he on the 1-yard line? I am relatively certain Justin Tucker will make the 11-yard field goal that he was set up at. So why his kicking stuff was there, I don't know. But I know he wasn't kicking from there. So was he the victim, or was he the culprit in this situation? Or maybe he was trying to kick 109-yard field goals the other direction. So I don't know what the situation is, and it just looks suspicious why his kicking tee is set up at the 1-yard line. I'm pretty certain. I don't, like you said, he may warm up with 11-yard field goals, but I'm pretty sure he's got that one in the bag.
Yeah, this is victim shaming, and I will not stand for it. It's called warming up, Matt. You start at the 1, you kick it, you move back 10 yards, you kick another one. You don't go straight for the.
Keep in mind, he was doing his stretches.
Gym, do you?
You never kick 11-yard. There would never be a situation where you kick from the 1. You'd have to be snapping from in the end zone. It didn't make any sense. Why is his kicking tee there? Yes, I think I
warming up.
Realistically, I think they know each other and they were just fucking around with each other. And it was just like, all right, dude, I get it. It was one of those heated situations. But why? Why was he there? Why was he in that spot with his kicking tee? It didn't make any sense. If you're at the 30 and he does it, that's super annoying. You're kicking 47-yard field goals or 40-yard field goals to warm up. Get it. There's no situation where that thing would need to be at the 1.
So, Matt, as a kicker.
Okay.
So during warm up, I was not allowed to warm up on the field. They needed the field to warm up. I had to warm up in the end zone. So yes, Justin was warming up 1 yard outside the end zone. He was encroaching on somebody else's territory. I agree.
Yeah.
But there's no video footage that shows that who was there first. The chicken or the egg. I don't know. And we all know you kick one from the 1-yard line, then you kick one from the 12-yard line, because then you've made a 13-yard field goal.
That's whoa. I just thought it was weird. Yes, he kind of seemed like a dick. And Justin Tucker is cooler than all of those guys. Everyone knows Justin Tucker is actually people dig Justin Tucker's personality. He's the coolest kicker of all time, outside of Janikowski, but he was just also the drunkest kicker of all time. So I thought it was really interesting, the whole thing, but I just, looking at the evidence, I'm like, why is your stuff there, dude? Go where you would do your job.
I've got a counter to that, and that is on the entire field, right? The field's huge. It's 120 yards, and there are only 2 sets of goalposts. There are only 2 places on the entire field that Justin Tucker could have been warming up and practicing. You can throw the ball anywhere. The 50, the sidelines. You can throw the ball up into the stands. You could literally warm up anywhere. Justin
You
Tucker
kick
was
the ball in the
limited
stands.
to 2. No, you can't. You got to kick him at the field goal.
Dude,
Why would you throw
Perfect
the
kicks
ball
it
in
from the stands.
I don't know. We'll have to save this debate for another day because I just thought it was an interesting conversation. I loved it. The whole thing was really funny to me. And do you think they actually took it seriously? Any of them? I don't think it was serious at all.
I think Tucker was annoyed, but yeah, I don't think anybody was like about to throw hands.
I think Tucker was instigating it more than he was annoyed. I think he knew, like, why would he be there? It didn't make any sense. And I think that's why they're like, get your shit out of here. Why the fuck is it here? Like, why is your kicking tee here? It doesn't
Disagree.
make
Mahomes is a whiny
no
bitch.
sense.
He complains and begs for a flag after every play.
I think both of those things can be true. It makes no sense. And Mahomes is a whiny bitch. I don't think they're mutually exclusive ideas.
Fair enough.
All right. Sorry. I just wanted to play counter to that because I was watching him like, why is he there? Like, it didn't make any sense. He can stretch anywhere he wants. I get that. He can stretch in his own end zone. But I also thought they were just probably fucking with each other, like in a funny way. We talked about the 49ers game a little bit as far as the analytics conversation versus the situation. And I think Al came on here last week and talked about how important the analytics were and how Dan Campbell is like superior to Kyle Shanahan on the analytics side. And I think you kind of saw the downside of that as far as playing the results. But I don't even care about that. I want to talk about Brock Purdy. I actually want to take a step back. Everyone in America was calling the Detroit Lions America's team, right? America's sweetheart. Hardest working, never had success. They've never got to earn anything. And we're rooting for Detroit. Understood all that. But the whole time this is happening, everyone just shits on Brock Purdy. And it annoys the ever-living fuck out of me. Because Brock Purdy, where do you go to school, guys? Do you know?
Iowa State.
Iowa State, not a highly regarded school. Where did he get drafted? Was it early or late?
Believe it was 13th. No, he was last.
The 13th round. Yeah, he was Mr. Irrelevant. And that's all I ever hear is Mr. Irrelevant. He just can never be good because he's Mr. Irrelevant. And it annoys me because if there is a more American story than a guy who came from a smaller school, yes, a Big 12 school, but came from a smaller school, and he's doing great things. I think he's had 45 touchdowns to 13 interceptions in his limited time. It's incredibly impressive. Why aren't we showing him more love and we're showing all the love to Detroit? I don't understand it. Can someone explain it to me or have thoughts here?
I have a theory.
Okay.
And it's that people want him to fail. They want him to be bad because so many of us, our teams have struggled to find a quarterback, right? Think of Jacksonville. You got Blake Bortles. You've got they thought Trevor Lawrence was the savior, and like he's good. He's the best quarterback they've had in a long time, but like Brock Purdy might be better, right? And it's annoying to see like, you know, our first round picks keep failing after failing, and they have a throwaway draft pick that nobody would ever trade for or ever think mattered, and all of a sudden he takes them to the Super Bowl. People are like jealous. I think that's what it is.
But isn't it a great story that they paid Jimmy Garoppolo $260 million and this guy who they pay $812,000, not chump change, but after taxes in California, that's like $500,000. Like that's not a joke. It's actually like slightly more than $500,000.
Yeah. He probably can't afford to live in San Francisco.
He cannot. There's no way he's living in San Francisco. He is living in like...
He's bussing in from Oakland.
Yeah, exactly. He's taking the BART from Oakland every day down to Santa Clara or San Francisco. I don't understand it. And everyone cherishes the Lions. It's like they got a team loaded with number one picks. Jared Goff is legitimately the number one pick in the draft.
I think Ryan Gosling, people love him because of the comeback story, right? He was written off so much after. I mean, he took a team to a Super Bowl like 5 years ago or something, and people had totally written him off. And so, like the comeback story. But yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from. Like normally we're all about the underdog, right? Not not Goliath.
And look, the Lions are a great story. I don't want that to be lost. I was happy with the Lions winning yesterday if they won, and I was happy for Brock Purdy if he won because I kind of thought that was cool. And Brock Purdy won the game. He went out and actually won that game with his legs, which we can go into more conversation because I didn't think that was a thing. I didn't know he had legs. I thought he just had like cement blocks and he threw. Looking like Lamar Jackson evading sacks out there. Chris, I'm sorry, I've been rambling. Do you have any thoughts on this?
I do, but hold on. I got to finish this text with Danny.
Okay.
Just so you guys know, I actually harass and bully all of the other people that aren't here while this is going on. So
Picker harassment.
Anyway, yeah. So I I found it really hard to believe because like we said, America loves an underdog story. Like what's better than this story to be like the current American dream like of this year? And I think it also it's because they're easy to kick when they're down, right? So like he hasn't won that big game yet, and if he comes out and wins that Super Bowl, like people aren't going to say shit about him for like 5 years, right? I mean, if he keeps doing great, like I mean, hell, Tom Brady did great. He continued to do great, you know. Like people will talk about him like, oh, he's a legend. But I mean, like if he comes out and wins the Super Bowl, people like he'll solidify his place in history. And then if he falls off the charts, he falls off the charts. It's kind of like, I don't know why this reference is popping in my head, but it's kind of like, like Macklemore won like album of the year, like rap album of the year. And I haven't seen an album from him since.
It's because the next day he texted the other artist and apologized for winning. He said,
I'm so glad you brought that up. Very few moments in my life have made me angrier than when Macklemore won that rap album.
Was it
it's
Kendrick
Good
Lamar?
Kid, Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid,
Yeah.
Mad
Good
City.
Kid, Mad
And that
City.
it was the better album, but Macklemore and Ryan Lewis's album was pretty good.
It was pretty good for a pop album.
It had more mass appeal, I think.
Fine. Fucking fine.
It sold 13 million copies.
Whoa. Yeah, I actually thought about this the other day. I have rarely been as angry in my life of things I cannot control. They're completely out of my control. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me because Good Kid, Mad City is one of the best rap albums I've ever heard. Macklemore made fucking Pawn Shop. That's fine. Or thrift store, whatever. Thrift store. Yeah, that's how irrelevant that shit is. What's Macklemore doing now? Probably actually working at a thrift store where Kendrick Lamar is still killing it. You fucking clowns. And it's more of a race thing. The Grammys are the worst. You just found a white rapper and you saddled your bags to him. Let's play a game.
To be fair. All right, wait, did you say let's play a game?
Yeah.
Let's play. I don't care what it is.
Who does this athlete get paid more than Brock Purdy? Ready? JJ McCarthy, quarterback in Michigan.
Yes.
Correct. Bo Nix, quarterback at Oregon.
Yes.
Spencer Rattler, quarterback at South Carolina.
Yes.
Yes,
No.
you're correct.
Oh, it was.
I'm going to say yes until you name a WNBA player.
Angel Reese, women's basketball player at LSU.
No.
Yes. Travis Hunter, all like jack of all trades for Colorado.
Oh, absolutely. He makes more than Brock Purdy.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You can just keep saying yes. Caleb Williams, quarterback at USC.
Yes.
Arch Manning, someone who's never touched the field. I'm sorry, he has played a few downs, but not the starting quarterback.
Never started the game. Yeah.
Livy Dunn, LSU gymnast. Livy Dunn is, she's got incredible clout.
Yeah.
I've seen her in so many commercials recently. Yes, she gets paid a lot more than all the other ones I just said. Shador Sanders?
For sure.
Yes.
LeBron James's son. He kind
One
of
who has a heart attack when he tries to play.
Yeah. He ball so hard, his heart exploded. No, yes. My point is, Brock Purdy is the American dream. He's doing this, and someone's got to get his ass paid because he's gonna die. Like it's gonna be it's gonna end tragically, the story, because he's gonna break his leg before he signs that big contract in the offseason. If I am Brock Purdy. Yeah, Brock Purdy. I was just getting mixed up with all the other college quarterbacks. I'm gonna be like, look, dude, I understand how the system works. I get that cheap quarterbacks make great teams, right? Russell Wilson in Seattle. It's easy to win when you have a quarterback on a cheap contract. Be like, just give me like $12 million a year. Like, that's a steal. Give it to me now. Do it for 5 or 6 years. Let me get some money, because that's considerable amount of money. It ain't Mahomes money, but you can live. That's generational wealth, even in California. And you're like, let's just keep this thing rolling. If not, I'm gonna wait and make you pay me $45 million. Like,
Yeah.
we can trade this off.
Maybe this is just a personality thing, but like I've never got like why quarterbacks feel like they have to squeeze the team for every dime. Like there's so many endorsement opportunities. Like go make your money with sneakers or sugar water or whatever. Let the team keep a few dollars and be good instead of like squeezing every penny out of them. It's not like football's their only way to make money, right? Like
especially at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but that is exactly what Tom Brady does.
He does do
salary cuts so they can get weapons so that he can win.
He was also married to a billionaire, right? Like that doesn't hurt. He was the poor one in that relationship.
Yeah, he was. When they got divorced, she paid him.
Yeah, keep in mind that like he's the one getting alimony.
He always wins.
He wins in divorce.
Yeah.
He wins. I'll be curious to see. I'm sure Brock Purdy has to have an ad coming out in the next couple of weeks, especially going into the Super Bowl. I'll be curious. Do you see the internet dunked on him yesterday for how he dressed at the press conference? Because he just dressed like fucking normal. You know why he dressed normal? He doesn't have bowler ass money. He has fine money. $500,000 is great, right? Like even in San Francisco, that's fine. But let's pay my boy. Let's get him paid at this point. I would refuse to take the field in San Francisco and be like, I need more. No, not the Super Bowl. I'm going to go try to get a ring. But if I get a ring, I'm going to be like, you have to pay me more. Like we have to renegotiate something. I don't know how this works. Not be like, trade me.
You know,
send me to Atlanta.
Would you take it, Chris?
Who, Brock Purdy?
Yeah.
If he could bring that same fucking like awesome, amazing comeback story to Atlanta, sure.
Hell yeah.
But I think that I don't think we can afford him. I don't know.
$500,000.
Yeah, the Falcons are going to Falcons. I don't know.
Yeah.
But speaking of like players getting paid, like I saw something I read the other day about Julian Edelman talking about how cool like Randy Moss was or something, and I guess like when they were like at training or practice or whatever, that it was like the rookie's job to constantly go out and like buy everybody sandwiches.
Hate that.
And like he was like, you know, Randy Moss would always slide me like some money to the side and be like, here you go, till you go buy the sandwiches and shit. And it got me to thinking, he was playing the NFL. He couldn't afford to go buy like 15, 20 sandwiches. What the fuck?
Dude, you don't get paid that much. Like after you pay your agent and you pay everything, like we joke about the Brock Purdy, $500,000 is a lot of money. But not when you have to buy like 200 sandwiches every day, because those linemen, I'm sure, are not eating a sandwich. And I'm sure you're not going to do Panera. Panera's expensive. Fuck that. Subway sandwich, right? Like no one, I'm sure you're getting premium sandwiches. You're going to run like $5,000 in order to get lunch for some people. It's ridiculous. I think I did the math wrong there. Like $500, but $500 for sandwiches is a lot.
Yeah. Oh no, $500 for sandwiches is a lot. But when Julian Edelman was a rookie, it wasn't $500 for sandwiches. That's inflation you're thinking about, Matt.
It was in the Northeast though. It's expensive up there.
Oh God, all those lobster rolls. Holy shit.
Wow. No, I was saying ham and cheese sandwiches. Lobster rolls totally changed the economics of this. It's $2,500 for those sandwiches. I think we've covered sandwiches for this episode.
Before we move off the NFC Championship game, can I just deliver a message to the Detroit Lions and their fans? Maybe God is punishing you for having the name of a racist on your stadium. Take the name of a racist off your stadium, and maybe you'll win something. So.
Is it Ford?
Yeah. Henry
Is he a
Ford,
racist?
noted anti-Semite. Yes.
Ooh,
Yes.
that was not the racist I was expecting.
That was not the racist I was expecting.
That's why
You're
it's so hard to
racist.
find Jewish people in Detroit.
Oh,
You know what? Hey, if
The
I
more
could,
you
if
know.
I could, yeah, the
There
more
are
you know.
13
Actually,
Jewish people in Detroit.
whoa!
if I could to throw a little bit of sauce on my sandwich real quick, I want you to know that we have Henry Ford to thank us for the 40-hour work week.
Thank
Fuck
God.
that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know him or whatever, but it was his invention of the assembly line made the 40-hour work week.
But I think people were working like 100 hours before then, and everyone was like 6 years old. Kids were like not learning to spell because they were working the assembly line. I think that's why. I think it was a good thing at the time.
No, I think the kids were still working the farms, Matthew.
Oh, maybe they were. They weren't getting sucked into the car machine, the widget
Well,
machine.
No, I mean, like in Michigan, they were busy filtering out the water. That's why nobody could drink it.
That's true.
Got rid of that child labor.
We need to get child labor back so we could have drinkable water in Detroit. Is that what you're saying? Because I could stand on that platform.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk football. So Super Bowl is 2/11, February 11th. We have San Francisco and Kansas City, like we talked about. The spread currently is San Francisco a 1.5 point favorite. I kind of found that number interesting because it seems like with everything you learned, is Kansas City smart to play the money line, or is it better to kind of play more traditionally here and lay the points with San Francisco? Super Bowl's a weird game, right? One game outcomes, you kind of throw a lot of those numbers out the window. And if you power index, you have to assume the most. Like usually, like there's kind of a threshold. You get them to the highest number instead of the lowest number. But Andy, what are you thinking here on the spread?
So my numbers say that San Francisco should be a bigger favorite than that. I think people are rushing to back Mahomes because of things he's done in the past. And I mean, honestly, he's on an incredible run right now that they just keep winning, but it's not because of their offense. So I think Mahomes is a bigger name. People are heading that way. And that's why this number's as low as it is. I think it should be like 5 or 6. So I think there's value on laying the points with San Francisco. I'm kind of one of those people that has been waiting to see Brock Purdy's wheels fall off. But it hasn't happened. He's been playing really well, minus the first half, I guess. But yeah, I can only go by what I see on the field. Even though I thought he'd fall apart, he hasn't. So
I think the last 2 Super Bowls have been decided by 3 points, so a field goal. And I think most other Super Bowls for the last 10 years, I'm like skimming, have been decided by at least 6 points or more. So it is kind of shocking that this one is, like 1.5. But then again, like Vegas, they always know. They always beat me. So, I mean, I think that it's going to be a fucking 2-point game. Fuck those fucking guys.
It's going to be. Well, and to Andy's point, I think it's right. I think there's a power indexing number, and then there's the Mahomes factor. And Vegas' job is to just make vig, right? How often can we get people on both sides? But yeah, I think you're right. I laid the 1.5. I laid the 2 actually when I bet it because it seemed like a very good value there. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm scared. I'm scared of Pat Mahomes. I've seen this shit before. I've seen it 100 times, and I'm curious about how deep they go into the script. Now, like we said, if Roger Goodell's smart, the Chiefs lose. So you get the Chiefs fans, and they're going to win in 2025, and it's going to be a redemption story, and there'll be a tour, a Taylor Swift Kansas City Chiefs tour following that. That's how I'd market it. But you got to give them a little bit of pain in order to get the victory on the other side.
I love it.
Hey, that's stupid. Just lay the 1.5 is what I'm thinking here.
I also think, and I could be very wrong here, these things are really hard to predict, but I think usually you get public bettors betting first and then like the pro bettors betting later because the limits go up. And so we might be seeing the public push the line towards Mahomes because of the name value and everything. And then next week when the limits go up, we might see the sharps hit San Francisco. So I kind of think, again, I could be wrong, but I think if you want San Francisco, you should bet them this week. If you want to bet Kansas City, you should wait till closer to game time. I think you'll get a better number on Kansas City next week.
Well, is it fair to say the sharps are betting the max of the lower limit in order to move the number down and then take the much bigger number on the other – well, lay much more on the other side, assuming that San Francisco will hit it?
For sure, yeah. Yeah, some of them do that.
Yeah.
But you got to have a big bankroll to do that, right?
No, I'm not that sharp, right? I understand. There's like firms. There's like collectives that like pool money together, right?
Yep.
And they work for a bunch of people. I get it. But I always am curious about how those things work, where you see numbers go one way and then they violently swing the other direction. And my assumption is that's how it works when the smaller limits, they max them out and then hit much bigger numbers after. Yeah. Another curious number is the totals at 47.5. Look, both teams are perceived to have high power offenses. Anyone who's been listening to ChuggieBets or been astute to watching football this year realize Kansas City doesn't have that high power offense. It's been Spagnuolo on the defense all year. San Francisco can score, but they score in weird spurts and then they go through cold patches as well. Andy, what are you thinking about the total?
I bet under the 48 when it first opened. I think you said earlier, I'm not sure if we were recording it or not, but Super Bowls are weird and betting unders is a little scary in a big game like that, but I show a decent amount of value there. So like I said, I got it at 48, but still 47.5 I would take as well.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
I'm an over guy, and like I feel like this is a little high for what like you said, like what these defenses are going to allow. Like both defenses are good defenses. That's very true. But I will say that I did the last 10 years, the average total score of those Super Bowls is 56.1 points.
Yep. Last few years have been high scoring. Last year was really high scoring. That Philadelphia, Kansas City, very memorable pass interference game.
Mm-hmm. The Kelsey Bowl. Oh my fucking goodness. It was the Kelsey Bowl last year. Now it's the Swift Kelsey Bowl.
Yeah. There is a very popular prop of will Travis Kelce ask Taylor Swift to marry him after the game on the field.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the world we're living in, baby. You can also bet the Shrine Bowl on Thursday. Shrine Bowl is a college all-star game of just seniors. So you can gamble on everything and lay the 1.5 with the West. I'm going to just put that out there. Lay the 1.5 on the West team.
All right.
Hey, unrelated to that, I love the under here. The under I feel better about more than sides. Look, I think San Francisco is the better team. I think I've said it on ChuggieBets. I have a few rules. Always bet double-digit dogs at home and don't bet against San Francisco. And look, they haven't covered the last few numbers. This number is low. This is going to – yes, it'll probably be a 1-point game, right? It blows up in my face. San Francisco wins and they don't cover that number. But but both defenses are good. If Kansas City wins, I think it's going to be, oddly enough, I think it's going to be on Pacheco's back. I think they're going to end up running him. Pacheco's been running well. San Francisco has shown early that they cannot stop the run really well. They let up a bunch of runs to Green Bay and Detroit until they shifted back into a different defense. They shift better in the second half. So you could also bet over Kansas City points in the first half maybe as well. But I think collectively for the game, the under feels good. This feels like hey, there he is. Feels like a 44-point game.
Nice.
We're talking about the Super Bowl total, Dan.
So while Danny tries to get his audio going there, Matt, do you remember towards the end of the regular season, I believe it was a Giants game with Tommy Cutlets, and you coined something that we called the Dum Dum teaser.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was a teaser that had no value because it was stupid.
Dumb as hell.
But it's fun, right? This is a Dum Dum teaser for sure. There is definitely no value in this at all. But when there's only one game to play, if you want to tease, you have to tease the same game. And so teasing the total up to what is it? 54 and teasing the Chiefs up to 7.5.
Oh yeah.
I think that could be fun, especially if I've got the -1.5 on San Francisco. So I'm got that sweet little window where I can hit everything. It's gonna be fun. Not value, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. I love that. I'm actually gonna do that Dum Dum teaser. That sounds super fun to me.
What's up, Dano?
Hey guys, don't do that teaser.
Oh, don't. Unless you want to have fun.
Do that teaser.
So to have fun watching a football game, you're going to bet an alternate under.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Ugh.
You're gonna live, baby.
If you're going to tease a total, tease it down so you can at least root for points.
I love like living crazy, but that's like living tapioca. Like that's the blandest way to live. Like I'm gonna take it under, but I'm gonna move it 6 points and then take that under.
Maybe I'll do it twice, and one of them I'll bet the over, one I'll bet the under. And then I've got another.
Or just bet the lie.
No, we were saying Andy and I like the under, and we're leaning towards San Francisco. I'm leaning towards San Francisco. I think Andy's fully on board with San Francisco.
Yeah, I already bet it.
Yeah, I already bet it too. I got -2.5. That's the worst value you're going to get on this game. It's down to -1. I bet it like right that night when it had moved from 1.5 up to 2.5. It was a dumb bet by me, but
no, I think that's my bad. You asked me what my number said, so I'm sorry about that.
I think the sharps are going to move it the other way. We were talking about this. I think you're going to see the dumb public bet one way, and then as soon as those bet limits go up, that number is going to fly to like 3.5.
Oh yeah, that -1 is not going to hold. You should take it.
Yeah,
that's what I said. If you like San Francisco, bet it now.
We did.
Nice.
Hey,
glad we're on the same page. How's the ankle?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. The ankle.
Not great. Not great.
Danny, I need you to catch up on everything we talked about, and then we can end. In the Mahomes and Kelsey versus Justin Tucker controversy, what are your thoughts?
I think, why would you? First off, what the hell are they doing? Bullying a kicker? Like, come on.
Okay.
How high school is Travis Kelce's life right now, where he's dating the cheerleader and he's bullying the kicker? Like, come on, man, just be better. But if you're gonna piss off a guy on Baltimore, I guess that's like the best one to piss off, right? Because when he's, the regular, he's like always good from inside of 60, and if he's mad, it'll be like he'll be good from inside of 65. So like, you didn't really lose much. It's not like you bullied Lamar Jackson and he ran for 250 yards on you.
Yeah. Danny, just one quick correction there. I don't believe he's dating the cheerleader. I think the other girl's the cheerleader and she's on the bleachers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Right.
She wears short skirts
story.
and he's dating the girl that wears t-shirts.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I did go down a rabbit hole about this Justin Tucker thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that he was just stretching, but he's like stretches in the same place every time before he goes and warms up.
Why was the tee there, Chris? Why was there a tee at the 1 yard line? He's not kicking a 11-yard football.
Well, Matthew, if you just listened, maybe
sorry.
you would hear. Yeah. But so, like it's his fucking gear and he carries it around with him everywhere he goes. It was before pregame warmed up. It's where he stretches out every game before anybody's supposed to be on the field. The Chiefs decided to take the field early, and then they decided they were going to fuck with this kicker.
Bunch of assholes.
So the super cool kicker liked to keep his gear with him. He deserved to get beat up. I hope he got a swirly and a wedgie because he sounds like a nerd. He does sound like a nerd, and he deserved everything he got. And yes, that's victim shaming from my earlier point, Andy. Yes, you can tell me that I am shaming the victim.
Danny, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Who makes more money, Brock Purdy or Angel Reese?
I don't know who Angel Reese is.
Just
The
answer the
LSU
question.
women's basketball player.
I'm gonna guess Angel Reese because I know Brock Purdy makes no money. Like all the quarterbacks in college make more money than Brock Purdy. If you play at a top 25 school, actually, if you play at Miami, which is not a top 25 school, you make more money than Brock Purdy.
So, Danny, you strike me as a pretty smart guy, and you might know a few things about taxes. If I made $812,000 in California, how much is my take home?
Somewhere around 400K.
Holy shit! This just
We were
got
guessing
really
500.
bad.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it stinks. It stinks.
Wow,
You got to pay your
this
boy.
guy-
Give him an NIL. I want someone to give him an NIL. I want him to get paid the same, but have to be like representing random car dealerships in college towns.
Guys, this
and
isn't the American dream. This is actually how America is right now.
The best people doing all the best work aren't getting paid fairly.
We're getting
Is that-
shit.
Danny, one more question. How many Lions fans do you think bought hotel rooms in Las Vegas at halftime
Oh,
that were
man.
non-refundable?
I don't know about non-refundable, but I'm sure Al had a hotel room lined up.
We actually looked up the answer. It is 13,000.
Whoa.
13,000.
Whoa!
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
We'll have to get you up on the whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I think we've done it. We've talked 56 minutes and very little about football, but a lot about Brock Purdy and sandwiches. And
Ooh, what
why
kind of
Justin
sandwiches?
Tucker is the biggest nerd.
Well, that's a great question, Danny. When you send the rookie out to get sandwiches, is it ham and cheese or is it lobster rolls or somewhere in between?
I mean, I'd say like you're going to a nice sub shop like a Las Spadas or a V&S, and you get your pick. You can get your turkey salami, you can get your Italian,
Poor
chicken
rookie.
Florentine.
I hate it. I hate that shit.
You're gonna have to
Poor
stand in
rookie.
that V&S line.
Hate that shit.
Don't we have interns? Don't we have
Interns are just employees now because you have to pay them.
still?
Asking a $13 an hour intern to buy everyone sandwiches is way more cool.
Like the team should fucking pay for lunch and an intern should go pick it up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or
I agree.
everyone buys their own lunch because you're grown ass adults. I just hate that shit. I hate it. It annoys the hell out of me. Poor Brock Purdy. Free my man. Get him paid. Get him paid, Matt Campbell. Do it. I
So
don't know
maybe
if
he
I'm
can get
calling
like a
him
deal
Matt
at Subway, like selling.
I can't wait
Like
to
he-
see his first commercial. I realized I'd never seen him talk before last night, and he sounded just as milk toast as I expected. Like if you had to build a generic voice, like an AI voice, it's Brock Purdy.
Did he do quarterback speak?
All glory to God is how he started it. So yeah, he basically
Started with
did.
glory to God. He said he praised the team, thanked his offensive line and his running backs and his wide receivers.
It's like I can't do it if they don't get open. All that shit. So yeah, but he can get more nuanced if you pay him. Just pay my boy. I think we've done it. We
Yeah.
good? Everyone else have anything else?
Danny,
I
final
can't believe we've
thoughts?
done an hour on like 4 topics. It was awesome. Good job, boys. Well, for Andy, for Sunshine, for Danny, for Matt, thank you guys. And we love y'all. Rate, subscribe, do all that stuff. We need you. And good night, Joey.
Good night, Al.
Good night, Ken.
Life is still
13.
worth living, Al.
Whoa!